Hello everyone, the men in black are back and we're super happy to see you. Thank you everyone for joining us, especially people who are here for the first time. I see a few of you in the chat, so hello. Hope you're gonna have a great time with us today. When we talk about tomorrow's upgraded living update, yeah, that's the name of the update. And the name is pretty mysterious. I guess you have no what we're gonna do, what we're gonna add tomorrow. But anyway, we're gonna tell you today during the live stream. My name is Łukasz or Luke, and I'm Aramite Games Community Manager. And here's Aaron, who's our producer. So, why not? Let's get straight to the game. Do we have any changes on the world map layer, Aaron?
Yeah, hi everyone. On the world map layer we only have some balance changes this time for you. So nothing much to show you here. Mostly concerning world events, the rewards for them, the objectives, and some UX changes to mostly the descriptions of the events, so nothing major here.
Oh, by the way, I see you had some successful settlements recently.
Yeah, a lot of successful settlements. But the main thing in this update today is upgraded living, so housing upgrades, so to speak. And what does that mean? I'm gonna start a game somewhere, anywhere. Any difficulty doesn't really matter. Some more people, some food. Yeah, let's go with that. And with two. So why upgraded living? Why upgraded houses? This is, as people in the chat are a bit sad about. This is not the sealed biome update. We need 2 more weeks for the sealed biome. The upside of this whole situation is that you will get the sealed biome experimental version sometime in the near future TM with this update, or 1 day later, or maybe 2 days later. We're gonna see. But you know, before we release the sealed biome update, we want to first get some impressions from you on how it plays on the experimental branch, and then release it finally on the main branch. So for this update, we decided to work on something that is not as exciting as the sealed biome, but nevertheless pretty cool. I'm going to show you right away. It's housing upgrades. So for a long time in the game, there were basically 2 types of housing. Every species has the need for a basic shelter and a species-specific shelter. So when we first designed Against the Storm some time ago, we wanted to add an upgrade system to almost every building in the game, but that quickly turned out to be a bit too much. So you know, you can only see upgrades in mines, in the archaeologist's office building, and so on. And there was always some weird space with housing that it's not really that interactive, that there is something lacking, some depth there. So we decided to look back at our initial designs about upgrades and at housing again, and we came up with upgrading species-specific housing. No shelters, they are not upgradable, but the species-specific houses are. And let's gonna show you this here. As you can see, we have residents here, and here are the upgrades. So I'm just gonna show you every upgrade path. So soft beds, which increases villager speed for people in this house. Extra room, this is the first level, which adds 1 more slot here. And going off of houses again, before I talk in detail about upgrades, we also had some other experiments in the past with houses. For example, that villagers went and satisfied their needs in the house and then came back to the hearth or their workplace, which wasn't really a fun mechanic. So we still searched for something we could do with houses that would be interesting, create cool decisions, and be something more than just, you know, you place down a house and it's just there and that's the end. So yeah, so we can buy an upgrade here, maybe add one more slot, and that costs, as you can see, packs of building material. So this is another thing. Through a few updates earlier, we were experimenting with packs of goods having different roles in the game, so to speak. So we can packs of provisions are mostly, you know, dedicated to trading. So packs of luxury and some packs of other things can be used in events. And yeah, packs of building materials will be used to upgrade house. It's a very small cost because preferably we'll upgrade more than one house in your whole settlement. So yeah, we're gonna build a trading post, just some trading here, but let's yeah, and this is always an issue with the game because okay, I'm just gonna build a add it no, because I forgot the comment. Yeah, this is an issue with packs, so that some of the packs don't really have a specific role in the game. They are mostly used for orders, some are for events, and of course for trading. And their role in trading is increased by, you know, recently we did an update with higher values for different. What was that?
Yeah, so Telhurin is shooting us with his Nerf gun. This is a workplace.
Serious workplace. What color? Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, packs of building materials are used for upgrades, so they have a different role now than other packs, so it should be more worth it to make them. Let's just wait for them to give us some more wood to build this small hut. And one thing that's also with those upgrades I forgot to mention is that you have this first row of upgrades, as with every building basically, where every upgradable building, you can only choose one of the two for one row and the other one of the two for the next row. And this always, for every building, the first row is the same. It's extra room or villager speed. For the second row, it's one general upgrade to resolve, and one upgrade which is specific to the species living in the house. So for humans, it's harvesting and planting speed because they are specialized in farming. And to people here so they can make building materials, and I can show you how this looks. Also, one thing we added in this patch pertaining to houses is that you can now prevent people from moving in by locking a villager slot basically. This isn't really a lot for you to control because we don't want to give you, for now at least, like a whole detailed thing with villager placement and so on. Maybe in the future something more detailed will. But for now, we wanted to give you some measure of control over if people live in this hub, or for example in another hub where you build another hearth. Because, you know, getting those numbers up and trying to decide where some people are so that you can upgrade more than just one hearth, for example, was a bit tedious in the past. So now, you know, you can always lock or unlock those slots too. So let's upgrade this house, and of course, as with upgrades, you can see that the house here looks a bit less impressive than on the main branch right now. But if you buy some upgrades, it will change. And there's a text missing here, but it will just look a bit more impressive. And the next level will also change the look of the house a bit more. Some new assets will spawn, some chimney and so on. And that is, you know, another way of you to make your life a bit easier with some investment in building a settlement. And this ability to upgrade houses is, of course, unlocked in the Citadel. We added 5 new upgrades to the Citadel. You will have to buy them to unlock species-specific housing upgrades.
happens when you delete the building?
Yeah, this is the same thing as with all buildings, with upgrades in the game. So we give you back all the resources for your building, but not the resources for your upgrades. They are not refunded right now in the game, so even with mines or with the other buildings that are upgradable, you don't get back the upgrade cost. But with houses it's a bit easier because you can always move them, so deleting them is rarely a requirement for you if you want to change the layout of your stuff. And yeah, never mind this game. So other than that, other than
Also quickly answer some questions related to this. First, just comment, can we control where they go now without moving them? Villagers, of course, living in the houses.
You mean where they work and so on? About moving houses, or
I guess about, for example, between hubs or something like that.
For now, it's only locking the slots for them. There is no option to like specifically tell this one worker to be somewhere here.
Okay. So, which houses they are in?
Yeah, that's not really possible, and it's a fine line between micromanaging and, I mean, we wanted to improve the housing allocation at some point, but I'm not sure if you wanna ever get to a point where you will want to micromanage every villager and every house in your settlement, because that would lead to a lot of unnecessary frustration and micromanagement. We had this, as I mentioned previously, we had one update where we added the option to where basically villagers were to rest at their homes. So, you know, when you had someone working here, they would choose their closest home and they would just go back here. But every time you, for example, moved a camp somewhere, you moved the house together with this, you have to micromanage if the house is close enough for them to be assigned here, which was a pain, basically. Maybe in the future we'll add some more control here, or even a resident panel. But for now, it's just a bit more control than you get on the production main branch, which is basically locking or unlocking slots.
Just could for one more second show all the upgrades for human house?
Yeah, for the human house, it's right now extra room and soft beds. So extra room is one more villager slot. Soft beds is basically 15% speed increase for the villager living in this house. You can choose one, and the other is resolve +1 for people living here. And the last one is the species specific upgrade, which every species house is a different one. For humans is tool shed, which is global planting and harvesting for every villager in this house.
And what's important, this particular perk is global, so you don't need to micromanage farmers living in this house.
Yeah.
It's forever.
It's for every villager in the whole town, basically. So the more houses you have with humans assigned to them with this upgrade, the faster they will plant and harvest in general in all your settlement.
For each species.
Yes. So let's build a lizard house, for example. No, not a lizard house. I have lizards. I didn't want to build a lizard house because it doesn't have the upgraded graphics. But let's look at it. We don't even have to build it. So it has the same two here on the first level, the same here on the second level, but it has a different one, the species specific perk. So for lizards, it's basically increased gathering speed for every villager living in. So 3 lizards or 2 lizards in one house is going to increase the global gathering speed for all your gatherers. The numbers here are still balanced, so don't get used to the 5% increase here. We're probably gonna change that. But yeah, but that's basically how it works. So for example, take the beaver house. We don't have any beavers, but again, here is the normal upgrades, and here is the writing desk upgrade, which increases the speed of trade routes basically. And again, for every the cost on building packs is the same for the first level, but on the second level it depends on the species. So for example, beavers will require provisioners packs, and for example humans will require, I think, yeah, packs of crops. Depending on their specialization, the packs here.
Upgrade each to I'm not sure, but you one from each level, right?
Yeah, so
And
only one.
only then you can unlock level 2.
Yes.
Early to, for example, mine.
You can't skip the first level, just buy the second one. Just
And
like
it's,
it works
and the
bind.
upgrades are for this specific house. So if you purchase another, you need to upgrade it separately.
Every house has its own pool of upgrades, which you can buy.
Okie dokie. I don't know. Do you want to show all of the perks?
For all the houses?
Yeah.
No. let's
Some
leave
surprise
some-
for people for tomorrow.
Foxes and harpies you will have to discover for yourself. Let's just show you humans again, which is farming and planting speed, and lizards, which is gathering speed, and of course, yeah, beavers. I don't have any beavers here, but it's writing desk for trade routes, because beavers in lore are, you know, bound by the guild of merchants. They're almost all, and you know, okay, let's not get into lore too much. And this is, you know, something as with all features. If this is too much, if this is, you know, too powerful, we will balance it out in the future. Probably change some stuff around here and there. The fact that it's costing you something that's not refunded, and that is, you know, limited by the amount of by the number of villagers you have, it has the potential to self-balance itself at some point, but the values can be a bit nutty in the beginning, so we will keep an eye on that. Yeah, so other than that, so are there any questions?
I will check in a second, and we can move on, and then we'll answer the remaining ones.
Yeah. So let's move on. So other than that, we can just abandon this game, show you the new upgrades. Because we added 5 new upgrades to the Citadel with this update. So it's at this time we didn't reshuffle like in the middle anything. We added them on top because they are pretty high level upgrades. It's not a required feature for at any point for low level players, so all the housing upgrades are somewhere here in the top. So we'll just find 5 new upgrades to buy. For example, here is the housing upgrade for humans, harpies, lizards, and I think we have, yeah, foxes, and so on and so on.
This is a cool question.
Yeah.
The versions of houses have the same upgrade options as their normal versions.
You mean the purged, not purged, the haunted ruin, rebuilt haunted ruins?
Yes.
They can also be upgraded. They have the same upgrades as the normal houses, but that's a cool idea. Maybe to in the future change that and make the upgrades a bit more powerful for them. They are powerful enough right now, but maybe, yeah, could think of something different for them. Why not? Yeah, and in the meantime, let's now talk about some new perks, because that's one of the things that I think is also yeah, an exciting new addition in this update. We added 7 new cornerstones. I won't show all of them, but we can talk about them a bit more. So
what was the upgrade cost for the building?
So the upgrade cost for the building, the first one is you have to build it too. The first one is 1 building pack of building materials, and the second one is 2 packs of building materials and 2 specific packs tied to a species. So here it is 1 pack, here Okay. So here it is 1 pack, and here you can have 2 and 2. So for humans, it's packs of. Let's choose this one or this one here. Yeah, the house is looks a bit different right now. It's the lamp here and some tools, chimney, and yeah, it's in total is 3. But again, this balance may change. So yeah, new perks. Let's see if I can add some new perks to the game. That doesn't. Look, you can look at some questions in the meantime, while I look at.
Maybe I'll talk a little UX improvement, because as always we have some of those stored for you. So we mentioned the lock villager slots in the houses. We also added, and this is very cool, specialization icons to villager portraits in when you're in the building panel.
Yeah, we can show that right now. So there was pretty, yeah, it was often mentioned on our upvote. So right now, well, we don't have beaver. I think they have the build anything that they are placed in. Damn it, Harpies, you're so useless.
Oh no. You're not gonna say that on stream.
Yeah, I don't have any buildings for Harpies. Oh, here it is. Yeah, so it was a frequently requested feature, a simple one but pretty useful, which is showing the specialization icons when selecting villagers. You can see them in the tooltip here and in the description, but it's sometimes hard to remember which is which. So here you can see they match this, and we can select them, and it's gonna be a bit easier. Ron Empire is saying finally, because it was, I think, his suggestion on upvoting. Yeah, and before we move on with other UX changes, I'm just gonna speak about the cornerstones again, because yeah, I had something to say here. So we added 7 new cornerstones, and at this point in the project, when we have pretty advanced strategies in the game and a lot of different balance issues or non-issues, it doesn't matter. It's a bit hard to add cool perks, which are just cool. So with every addition we want to add something that changes the gameplay a bit or boosts a particular playstyle or gameplay option, for example, or encourages you to do something else in the game. So with this set of cornerstones, there are 6 legendary ones and 1 epic one. They are all, of course, gonna be present here in this in the seasonal rewards. I don't have any luck, so not them. But I have here the secure perimeter, new perk called secure perimeter, which is a retroactive perk for exploration. Which gives you less hostility for every discovered forbidden glade. So once you discover a forbidden glade, you get less hostility for small and dangerous glades. And this is a pretty powerful perk. But we wanted to, but it comes at a high cost of discovering and dealing with forbidden glades. The more you deal with them, the better is. Oh, the description is covered up by our.
Fortunately.
But it's a pretty powerful perk. For every explored forbidden glade, you lose the hostility for small and dangerous glades. And that should encourage a more wide approach to exploration in the game, at of course the cost of dealing with Forbidden Glades, which are not that easy. But all the perks added in this update are gonna be boosting some type of playstyle. Most of all, it's boosting the exploration aspect, as I said, and rain punk or industry. So in the last couple of weeks, the rain punk is becoming a sort of playstyle in the game. It's pretty weak right now in terms of identity, but we wanted to boost that and give more options, more rewarding gameplay options for you and decisions. So there are some new perks that I'm not sure if I wanna. Let's add one perk that is, for example, focused on the industry aspect of it. So for example, blight filter. It comes with a or are you moving our heads away? Yeah, cool. So for example, blight filter is a cornerstone that will mitigate the negative impact of using rain engines. So Blight Rot Cyst will appear way slower, 50%, but at the same time, as a small setback, it's gonna lower your reputation gain from resolve for the next 2 reputation points. So, it's a small setback because you have to deal with a small debuff for the next 2 reputation points. You can, get them via orders or exploration and so on. But after you gain the next 2 reputation points, the setback is gone. You only have the bonus for it. It's a new type of thing we want to experiment with a bit. So it's like temporary drawback. So a small, little hindrance in your development of the settlement, but after you go through that, you can have just a bonus from it. So instead of just getting a penalty for your entire game, you have something to deal with for a shorter time. And it's we're gonna see how it works out, how you guys like it, if you play around with it, if it's not really used. As with all changes, we look at the stats, how they are picked, how many playstyles come out of them, and we're gonna see if this is something you guys like. If not, then we're gonna just balance it. And again, this is something new we want to try out, so that the temporary debuffs for legendary perks, instead of just like disabling some aspects of the game for you.
Like Aaron mentioned, we are super eager to hear from you once you get a chance to play the new update. So we are checking the Steam discussions, Discord, Reddit almost every day. While we cannot reply to all comments, discussions, we cannot be always active. We do read everything we can. Usually it's like 99% of all messages that you share with us. So we are up to date, even if it doesn't look like we are gathering feedback. But still, the best tool for example, suggestions is our feature request tool. So when you go to feedback.remitegames.com, you can vote for particular features that other people suggested, or you can suggest your own, post your own suggestions, and then other people can vote for it. This is very cool because you don't need to create an account. You can vote anonymously, and it gives us a better understanding of what features are requested, what do you care about, and we always discuss the top suggestions on our plannings. So Aaron always does a review of the suggestions and picks the most, the ones that are on top and that are feasible for us, and we try to include them in the updates.
It's not always possible for us to respond to everything because there's just so much feedback floating around, but we read everything, even with a slight delay, but treat everything. Like when it comes to upvoting on Discord. So yeah, we're gonna see how the new perks work out. I'm just interested in some new ways of approaching some games, maybe encouraging you more to use to generate more blight rot in your settlement, because that's always a challenge. But we'll see. The other things that are coming in this update. So let's sum up the new content stuff. So it's upgrades for buildings, new upgrades in the Citadel to buy, and of course new cornerstones. This is the bulk of the new content, but then we have of course the balance changes. As I said, we have the Glade event rebalance. There are some Glade events that required some weird things for you to do, maybe in a short span of a few years. So we balanced that out to be more lenient, to increase the rewards here and there. So we're gonna see everything tomorrow in the changelog. We also rebalance some deeds, like rush delivery requires a few less timed orders to be completed, and we increased the spawn rate of gazers in the Cursed Woodlands, because there was some issue with them spawning on those special glades there. Are a bit different than. And of course, there's also there's one new forest mystery, new/old forest mystery. So it's vassal tax, which is we disabled this a few weeks back, and before we had the payment system in the game. The new payment panel that appears when you have something, a tax to pay or some maintenance to pay and so on, because it was pretty unfun. But now we re-enabled it, because now you have the tools to pay it and to control it a bit more. And of course there is one perk rebalance, the scientific agreement, which is a very rare perk gained from Dullahan, the trader, and these mysterious boxes, which gives you wild cards for killing villagers. It was a bit too strong, I think, and there was a bug with it, so yeah, we changed that. And yeah, now we can move on to some cool UX changes.
Yep, why not? Okay, so I have a list here. What else do we have? On the open some dangerous glade and find a large node, and then hold the resources overlay button. You will see that the large nodes now have 2 stars below their icon, and this is to indicate that this is a large node and that you need a regular version of the camp to gather from this node. So the whole camp is not enough, you need the regular one.
Yeah, I'm just gonna open a big glade right now. Here's another new perk, which is market shift plan. It gives you 2 new offers for every town for trade routes, but there's again a temporary drawback, which is traders won't come to your town before you finish at least 8 trade routes. So yeah, you will get more options for every town, neighboring town, 2 more options, and that will boost your export capabilities, but you will suffer a small drawback for the next 8 trade routes before you finish the next 8. Okay, so why not pick this? We're gonna open Dangerous Glade and see the new big indicators. So when you press B, you can see by default you can change that. You can see the indicators for small glades, for small nodes, and so now you can see that we added some stars here. So when you see this means it requires a 2-star recipe in your camp harvest, and of course small camps don't have the 2-star recipe, they have the 1-star recipe. So that should make it a bit clearer that you need something else, because the normal camps, they have big camp. So yeah, that's one change to UX also that was requested. Another thing that was pretty often mentioned in the upvoting site was clicking on notifications. Just right now. So if, for example, I had some notification here about picking a cornerstone or something like that, you can now click on it and it will open the cornerstone pop-up. Previously, it was just highlight the button here, which was it was supposed to tell you, hey, this is always here, please click this. In the tutorial it stayed that way, but for now, but from now you can just click the notification. It will open up your orders or your perks or so on and so on. What else is there? One thing that's pretty, I think, interesting is the hostility tooltip. It was also requested a lot that you could see how much hostility is per different source. Previously here you could only see like years and then the total amount of hostility gained through years. And now we changed that so that it says in the brackets that it's 1 times 30. So you could more or less see, okay, I have 9 villagers, they are 4 each, so that's how it works now. So it should make your life a bit you don't have to memorize all the values ever again, even if they change. What else?
How do you highlight single for cutting? This is very useful. When you hold shift, you change the size of the radius.
Yeah, and there's also a few other useful tricks to know about woodcutting. So for example, you can hover over the icon to see a few more things here. So for example, the default hotkey for harvesting trees is F. If you press that, it will go into this mode. But also here is a short description of other things you could do. For example, shift will make the marker smaller, and control will exclude trees that are on the very border of glades. So for example, I can mark some trees here, and you can see I mark regardless where they are, it's all marking. But for example, if I wanna cut something here around this building, but I don't wanna open this glade and tell them to open this glade, I could hold control and mark trees that are only that cutting them down won't open the glade. So I'm just spamming the tool here, but it always leaves one small line.
Yeah, if you after the stream, you can always hover over the woodcutting icon and those useful shortcuts there.
Yeah, they're all listed here. And of course, other things also, if you hold Alt, if you mark trees, for example, only hold Alt and mark again, it will remove the markings. So holding Alt will reverse the tool. And this might cause some issues, for example, with Steam Overlay or with Alt tabbing and so on. So it's best to if something doesn't work with the tool, it's best to check if you don't have the Alt key pressed all the time. What else is there?
So, of overlays, there was one question. What about people who like to assign their villagers with workplace overlay, so workers overlay? So do we also see the icons? Unfortunately, not. This is not part of this update. The proficiency icons, the specialization icons. I mean, sorry. One you need to memorize for now.
Yeah, here we'll need to memorize that, but maybe we'll add that in the future. That's honestly something we didn't think about in this update.
Very cool suggestion. For now, it's only for the actual panel, not for the overlay.
Yeah, and one thing I think some people didn't know is that you can change the workers assigning here with mouse wheel. I read recently that not everybody knew about that, so also useful.
By the way, if you have some cool stories of things that you learned very late in the game, please share them in the chat. Maybe other people are not aware as well.
Yeah, always.
Usually we recommend just checking tooltips of everything you can. It's not always possible to them in the key bindings tab, but we try to update the encyclopedia page for useful shortcuts. So I think, yeah, this is the default page of Encyclopedia shortcuts. But there's even more of them. It really is quite hard to fit those shortcuts anywhere on the HUD. So unfortunately, you check tooltips carefully.
I'm still thinking about it. How to add some contextual feature to the HUD that will tell you about useful shortcuts when you use a tool and so on. So it's still something we have in the backlog somewhere. For example, I know a display here that will change depending on what you have selected and tell you what you can use where and so on. But it's always, an issue of do we need this right now? Are there more important things to add and so on and so on. So it'll have to wait a bit. Got it. And other things that might seem cool, or at least limit the amount of confusion when it comes to UX and UI, is changing some wording around. I don't have the examples here right now on the HUD, I don't think. But for example, all the beats or different world events on the world map, sometimes they ask you to do something. And sometimes they ask you to do something in a span of a few years. So we changed that to always be standardized into win a game before year X by doing something. Because previously it was not only win a game before year X, but then it also was win a game within 7 years, win a game before year something, and so on. So we tried to standardize that. It's not, there's always room for improvement. So if you see another text in the game that looks like that and could be improved, or not every place is taken care of, just let us know. We'll take a look at that. Also, not every deed had this structure of sentence, win a game before X by doing this. Sometimes it was win a game by completing trade routes before year 7. And people were thinking, okay, do I need to win the game before year 7, or do I need to complete trade routes and then win the game? But trade routes completed before year 7, and I can win whenever. So yeah, we tried to standardize that to make it a bit clearer. The same thing goes for timed effects. So I don't have any here right now, I don't think. There are some forest mysteries, for example, like Cloudburst, which gives you, if you don't pay clothes, you get minus the resolve for a few minutes when the effect triggers, when you don't pay the price. And previously it was a bit confusing. The name of the effect was the same, but at the same time, the description was a bit weird. So now we changed the descriptions to always say what they do in this exact moment. And we added, the name of the effect as the source. So you can always, look at it and see where it's coming from. Oh, for example, here for this one, we have a negative effect, time penalty cornerstone, which is no trader will arrive in your settlement until you complete at least 8 trade routes. And the source, market shift plan, which is the cornerstone, which is this. So it should be a bit easier to navigate through those icons and effects and see where things are coming. What else?
Yeah. So when we were talking about Encyclopedia, there was one question. So that the Encyclopedia is missing Glade events. This is true, and while it might seem like easy to add, considering we have probably every other object in the game and perk that you'd want to see. With Glade events, there are a couple of things to consider, and that will require a lot of both development time for Michał and graphical time for Diamond, because Glade events scale with difficulty. They also have random rewards. They have different layouts for different types of events. So while it might seem easy for us internally, really a lot of work, and we would like to add it one day, but you just need to be aware that this is a very time-consuming thing for us to add. That's why we we haven't we haven't approached it yet. But
Yeah,
this is something that we do in mind. That this is something that you'd like to have in the game. It's just quite a big task for us. And of course we could do this, but always such things take our time that we could spend making new features, making some changes. We make the best out of early access and to get as much feedback from you as we can. So if we have the possibility to add new systems, mechanics, features, and then iterate with them with you, we prioritize those. But we also like to add some cool UX features, as we already discussed, a couple of those. Please something to keep in mind. Hopefully, keep your fingers crossed, we'll have time to add them one day. What else do we have on our list? Did you mention the world events, wording in the world events, like win before?
Yeah, that was the thing I was talking about earlier, but other than that, we have some changes to wording in general and events, for example. So when there are perks which give you bonuses for solving glade events in a settlement, and they weren't really clear, and people thought that maybe solving a cloned Bloodflower or a cloned Fishman Totem from the Fishman Cave would give you a bonus, which it doesn't because it's a cloned event, and cloned events don't count as bonuses for perks. So we added text in the perks description, so it's easier to know why you didn't get a bonus for a perk, and so on. So a lot of smaller changes to wording basically everywhere in the game. There's also one change in the embark panel, which I'm not in right now, but on the world map, when you select a tile, when you're spending all your embarkation points, if you don't have enough for an effect, it'll now turn red, the price on it, so you know right away that it's not really something you can afford. And so small changes to like usability and ease of use access somewhere in the game, mostly. Of course, as with every update, there are a lot of bug fixes. For example, there was one bigger bug, I think, that prevented players from settling between two modifiers, which were basically the Forbidden Lands and the Barren Lands modifier. Yeah, but that's that's just bug fixes, not really interesting to anyone. Oh, and some bug fixes with fertile soil spawn. So there were some glades which spawned too little fertile soil. I mean the glades with a whole settlement in them, and there was just not enough space for the fertile soil to spawn, so we...
Yeah, there was also another funny bug, let's say, when you won a royal resupply at the end of the cycle,
yeah, and
you finished the cycle early. I mean, when you won a royal resupply and didn't use it, and and then decided to finish the cycle early, and when you took the increased vision and range of embarkation, it carried over to the next cycle. So you had a very large area of vision and embarkation range, and actually I decided to leave it that way, right? So
yeah,
you can carry over your royal resupplies to the next cycle.
There was an issue to do mostly with the fact that when the bonus carried over, the map was like your view distance was bigger, but you couldn't use the different or click on the different, for example, events that were uncovered, and that was a bug. We fixed that, but at the same time we thought that we don't want to remove the option to like leave one hack or royal resupply for the next cycle, so we allow for that now. So we fixed the bug. At the same time, we allowed you to basically finish the cycle early, if you have a royal resupply, then it will carry over to the next cycle, which is a small bonus if you didn't manage to, get to the seal and so on. You could always leave it there and have a head start for. Yeah, so I think that's it. We can talk a bit more about the biome update coming in 2 weeks after this update. Not to tease too much, but we can also, if there are any questions.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions.
Yeah, so let's go through that.
The sealed forest, maybe can then add a little more to it. So Ron is asking, will new seal rewards, reward mechanics be added to the new seal biomes update? Unfortunately not. It's not a part of forest update. So what Ron is asking, if you are going to get some special rewards for completing seals, because it's 8 years, once per each during the cycle, and you can get it once per each seal. And another reward is a additional percentage of Citadel resources for completing a seal. So we are not adding any additional rewards or any different rewards for that right now. We are thinking about it for the future. We don't have any specific plans for now. I mean, we've been discussing it many times. It's a difficult topic, dependent on many factors. One of the things that players suggested when we were talking about the experimental update with seals was that perhaps some kind of ethic reward. So this is one of the things suggested by the community, and we would love to hear what are your thoughts about it. But no, there are not going to be rewards. There will be a new sealed forest biome with visuals. We already shared our preview, and there's going to be a unique mechanic, and honestly I'm really excited about it. We are playing it right now in the office. And the cool animation that's going to be the reforging of the seal. I'm really excited about it, and can't wait for you to see it. See that there are some problems with the microphone. Sorry about that. About the experimental idea. Sorry, I don't remember what that particular thought. So another idea got. We are experiencing some unusual technical issues. Yeah. The idea was to make some to reward you with some cosmetic rewards for completing a seal. Cosmetic rewards. So yeah, we are looking to hear from you. What are your thoughts about what would you like to see as a reward for completing a seal? Okay, so another.
No, I think it's pretty. You answered the question, I think, in a pretty concise way.
There are no achievements for completing seals as of now, because we decided not to add any additional achievements during early access. We will add more full launch. We will add more on full launch. Sorry, I need to replace it, or I don't know, get closer to Aaron. We decided to add new Steam achievements simply because. I don't know what's going on. We don't. Can you?
I can answer that question when Luke sorts out his microphone. So we didn't want to add new achievements, Steam achievements for early access right now, because one thing is like invalidating progress, mitigating some stuff, but the other thing is that early access is a very active phase for us. So we're adding stuff every 2 weeks, and stuff changes. We had one gameplay mechanic on the world map. It's now seals. So we're gonna have to sort out the entire like structure of the seals in the world map first before we add new achievements. And the other thing is that the feature for now with the seals is focused mostly on guiding you through content, which is still coming. So the content in the game. So if you play a lot of the game, then yeah, there is a lot of missing rewards for completing a seal after having sunk hundreds of hours into the game, and that will change, as Luke said. In the future we have some ideas for some new deeds with new cosmetic rewards and so on, even maybe with some more unique cosmetic rewards like special effect decorations, special effects, and so on. But
yeah, we'll see about that. Like, nothing that we say on stream is really 100% confirmed. But yeah, we are thinking about it. What else? There was also a question: are we getting new artwork for world events?
It's coming in the next update. I mean, it's coming in the future. And for now, Damian, who's sitting behind me, you can say hi to him. Can you see him? Is working on a special representation for the seal biome. So our hands are full of work for the current things and future things. But yeah, the plan is to add for every event custom sounds, custom assets. I think there's 7 illustrations missing for now, but they will come. They will be added to the game.
Yeah, and you accidentally also answered another question. The question was, are we sitting back to back? No, we are not. It's even more complicated than that, because Aaron's sitting on my right.
And I'm looking here, at you.
But on the screen, it's on the other side.
Just looking away from each other, like an old marriage, sleeping different sides, looking away. It's it's
people are gonna clip this one. Yeah, we're gonna see a lot of links to this particular part of the stream.
Yeah, exactly. And we're moving offices in the future, so we're gonna see a new background
and more technical issues, probably.
Yeah,
hopefully.
Every change, we have some technical issues today because we have a different PC that's streaming. So always something. So are there any other questions for the or I can just talk a bit more about the new sealed biome, just to tease you a bit before we move on and end the stream and so on. And this game is basically playing itself, so no play it really. So the sealed biome is coming in 2 weeks. There's gonna be an experimental phase for it, so we will be able to play an early version of it and give us your feedback. As always, with bigger changes to the game, we'll adjust and so on. I'm not really sure when the sealed biome experimental will come. We're aiming for end of this week, but it's always difficult to have a specific date in mind when we have this patch coming and hotfixing this patch, for example, if there are any issues. So it might come after the weekend. So don't get too attached to Friday, for example. It might come on Monday or Tuesday, but we want to release it a bit earlier to have enough time to adjust, to change text and so on, because that's also a bottleneck during production, where you give us feedback, but it's already we sent the text to translation companies, so we can't change too much that would interfere with text and so on. So it's always just rambling about developer life. But you will get to play this version. It'll have a unique mechanic on the map. It'll have a physical representation of the seal. And in the experimental version, you probably won't be able to see the asset for the seal, because it's a big and really cool asset. But we will leave it for the full release. But you will be able to see how the mechanic plays out, what are the wind conditions on this biome, what are the challenges on this biome, and what are all the special like conditions there, and so on and so on. Someone asked, is this like archaeology? Yes and no, as always. It's I don't want to spoil too much, but you're going to reseal the seal. So reforge the seal, physically close the seal. You're gonna see some nasty something in it, and you're gonna have to close it. I mean, on the experimental branch, you're probably not gonna see the nasty thing because it's work in progress, and you will leave that for the full version. But yeah, you will close the seal physically. There is gonna be a set of special requirements for you to close the seal, which are different than other biomes, so they are just different, a bit of a different win condition. There's still gonna be reputation and impatience on the seal, but there's also another condition for winning it, which is closing the seal, like physically. Said the word physically 4 times already. Also, there is gonna be a special building, like in the Scarlet Orchard, which will help you with playing on this biome with some bonuses and so on. And
I think that's enough.
Yeah,
that's enough
I've said
for
too much already. So yeah, let's hope that the experimental branch comes soon. You'll have enough time to play it, give us your feedback. And in the meantime, you'll enjoy this new update for Against the Storm with new perks, housing upgrades and so on. Luke had to stop me because I would say too much.
Yeah. There's a lot going on in the office. We're still testing some things. Let's not overpromise anything right now. Yeah. Okay. So what else? There was a couple more questions. We're not gonna be able to answer all of those probably today. Are we going to get more regular biomes, or is that finished for now? So the Sealed Forest biome will be the last biome we add during early access. We aim to release the 1.0 version this year, probably near the end of the year. Don't have exact date yet, but we more or less know what else we want to add to the game. And we estimate that we will launch Against the Storm fully by the end of this year. Fortunately, won't have time to add more regular biomes. There will be features coming, and probably after we release Sealed Forest, we will be able to tell more in a few weeks after that. But no regular biomes and no species are coming in early access anymore. Because August, I don't know how it happened, but it's already August and we're of the year slowly. So there's still a couple more exciting things ahead of us. Leads me to another question. How active will your post-early access be? Hard to tell right now. Depends on a lot of factors, including the game's reception after the full launch. But I guess there will be at least some free updates, because we know that when we release the game fully, there will be a player base with new reports, new ideas, new suggestions. So I'm fairly certain there will be some free updates after the release. Anything more I can say right now, because honestly we are not yet looking that much ahead. A couple questions about retention, things to retain players, stuff like that, and are we satisfied with the number of players? To be honest, we are amazed by the number of players that we have. Yeah. If you check your other, I think it's around 1,500 in a peak every day. Exciting. Exact number, and I'm entirely
the last
sure.
month it was closer to 3,000.
Yeah, so those numbers are two. Yeah, so this is very exciting. This is more than we ever anticipated. Honestly, mind-blowing. Oh yeah, we are very, very satisfied. Maybe there's one question for you. Do you want the game to go more into campaign mode with important meta progression, or more like endless more, like focusing more on random events and modifiers? It feels like those two don't go well together. So
The game right now is it's in the place where it's more random, it's more unpredictable and more run focused. It's probably gonna stay that way forever, but not like exactly that way, but in this vein. We have some ideas about giving the game more structure, and we talked about this, I think, when we first released the world map revamp, before the big revamp we did with the events and so on, and seals, the sealed update. And there was a lot of in the note about the next phase of early access, which is basically taking care of the meta layer of the game, of giving the game more structure, especially in the early game where we want to give you a clear goal, maybe tease some more story and so on. So we want to create the structure, but it's never gonna be I mean Mark, maybe I'm wrong, but for now it's not gonna be anything like mission-based campaign where you go from, like in Stronghold or something, where you go through a map and you have a special condition here, and then you move and there's some NPC talking about a different set of rules and objectives and so on and so on. We would want to give the game some more structure and introduce some more story, but that will all depend, as Luke said, on the exact date of 1.0, if we're gonna make it before that, on the reception after that, if you want to make that after happen, or even if you decide to make it before 1.0, if it's the scale of it will change depending on our timeline and so on and so on. So no real promises right now. The game will
also the word story is a pretty fun. We are never going to. I mean, never say never, right? Okay, you can tattoo this sentence and say that I said it on the stream, and never say never. But I can't really imagine adding a full-fledged story campaign to Against the Storm. It's just not really gonna happen.
That's because of two reasons. Because one, we are not really focused on story from the beginning of this project. We knew our team's capabilities. We are more focused on gameplay, more focused on like emergent things in the game, not really like riders in this room. So we know our limits, and not also the game is so far along in its process in its development cycle that adding a very narrow or linear story would probably not go well with how the game's strength right now, because the game's strength are more based in RNG and roguelike elements and this unpredictable nature of some stuff here in the game. But some story elements we still want to add because we really love this world we created here. So something more for the lore nerds will happen.
Okay, so we are going today's stream. There were a couple more questions. I noted them. They are more like suggestions and balance questions, and those are ones that are really hard to answer on stream when we cannot look into numbers. So I noted them all. Questions about CMARO, last minute payment by default, installing pipes. I have all those questions written down. I'm gonna share them with the rest of the team, catch them during the stream, and we are gonna think about all of those, and even try to answer it personally if we can find you on Discord. Yeah, and this stream, as always, I need to share important information and a little prize sneak peek as well. Yeah, so let's move on to this second screen. So as always, please your settlements before the update goes live. We estimate it will be released tomorrow between 1 p.m. UTC and 3 p.m. UTC. You can always check in the game below the play button. There's an info box informing you when the next update is gonna happen, and we are usually able to release the update between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. UTC. Sometimes we get slightly delayed. Hopefully not tomorrow. You settlements you want to complete, or if you really want to finish your settlement. Otherwise, it will be forced finished. We need to do this to avoid any game-breaking bugs. So your settlement will be forced finished. If this is your first update, this might come as a shock, but don't worry. Your cycle won't be reset, your meta progression is also safe, it's only the current settlement. So another thing that is gonna happen tomorrow is we are going to start a giveaway of the plush. On our Twitter there will be a giveaway information, so I will link those in the update notes as well, but you will be able to win one of two Beaver Villagers plushies. For the plushie live on August 11th, something like that.
August 12th, I think.
12th. I don't really remember, but the giveaway is live tomorrow. So we will have a couple of days to, I think it was read and liked. Follow us on Twitter, and also makeship the company that the plushie. Sorry, trying to get the right angle on the bottom. Yeah, it's he's really cute, and you can also remove his hood. This one has no ears, but the actual version will have ears. This one
Collector's edition.
No ears. Really quality stuff here. We're super excited, as you can tell. So that's it. Settlements, check in between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. Tomorrow for the update. The update note will be live on Steam when the update goes live. Thank you so much for joining us today, for asking questions, for always being so supportive, for following us on or YouTube. This is the right time to button right below, and yeah, sorry sorry for that.
Subscribe.
Thank you so much. Have a fantastic day, and see you next time.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.